Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now in this video we're going to be learning how to shoot in 4K, change the aspect ratio, and add filters and frames in Stop Motion Studio and Stop Motion Studio Pro. Please note that to use 4K you will need to have the Stop Motion Studio Pro app. Now, to shoot in 4K, the first thing to note is do not turn on 4K to film in if your device does not have a camera that can shoot in 4K. For instance, the iPad camera I'm using is not 4K compatible. However, my iPhone is 4K compatible, so I may want to use my iPhone instead. The way to turn on 4K in the iPhone version of the app and in the iPad app is the exact same. You're going to want to go to this cog icon for settings. Then you're going to start on the speed. Then you're going to want to go to where it says 4K, which is where you can change your quality. Now, I usually tend to pick standard quality or full HD. Best HD quality and 4K Plus original are only good if you have a very good camera. So, I would always recommend standard quality and full HD quality to save space. 4K Plus original will use up the most space. However, it's super easy. You simply just select an option, then press done, and then from now on when you shoot, you'll be shooting in that resolution. Now, to turn it off or switch between it, simply just go back, select on the quality you want, and press done. Now, to do the aspect ratio, you're going to want to go over to this frame looking one with the arrows. Here, it's super useful because it will give you a bunch of different aspect ratios and what the various applications for them are used for. Now, I usually just use the default, but you have default, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Cinema, and then all of the other various aspect ratios. Please note, some of them, like widescreen, your camera may not be able to perform as it may not be a widescreen camera. So, I am just going to go with default. But let's say I want to use TikTok. I'll click on TikTok, press done, and then where it's showing me is the only bit where I'm actually going to get the proper footage. Now to change aspect ratio, mid-film or at the start, it's super easy. You can just go and click back on an option. I usually just keep it on default. Now I'm going to show you how to add filters and frames to your stop motion to help add extra life and uniqueness. Now you're going to want to press on these three bars here just under the playback button. Press on those bars. Then you're going to be presented, oh no, that's the wrong thing. Now, to add filters and frames to give your stop motion more life, you're going to want to head on over to the settings icon again, where we went for the 4K. Click on that. Now, again, you'll probably start at the speed when you open it, or 4K if that's the last thing you used. Then you're going to want to head over to this, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's to the left of the 4K. Then you have a bunch of different filters. So these are super cool, and for instance, the mirror horizontal, I really like that filter when you're trying to get, say, a water reflection scene. But there is a ton of filters, so that's super cool. Or for instance, say X-ray. This can be super cool when you're trying to have, for instance, maybe like it's a cop scene and they're like scanning a building. That can be really cool. However, please note when you're using the filters, it's not going to come up when you're taking the new pictures. It's only going to come up in the previous pictures you've used. Now, if you want to go back to normal, just press none. Now to add cool frames, go over here to the left of the filters. Then you have a bunch of frames. So, for instance, you maybe want it to be like your, for instance, looking at this through a submarine. Maybe you're doing an underwater scene. Then, when you go over here, you'll see that the frame is the submarine. There's tons of different frames you can pick from, and they're really fun. And you can also use this add function to add your own media frames or foregrounds.